radio in America. The 30-year domination of conservative radio in the industry is coming to an end because of, I think, one woman. This is where it all started. In 2012, Sandra Fluke, she testified before Congress to support birth control access, and she was attacked.
What does it say about the college co-ed Susan Fluke, who goes before a congressional committee and essentially says that she must be paid to have sex? What does that make her? It makes her a slut, right? Makes her a prostitute. She wants to be paid to have sex. If we are going to pay for your contraceptives and thus pay for you to have sex, we want something for it. And I'll tell you what it is. We want you to post the videos online so we can all watch.
Well, it was a 3-day rant by the drugster, and this was a turning point in talk radio. The king of the conservative airwaves tried to knock down a law student because she stood up for women's health care. Advertisers, where did they go? Well, they fled the format. It cost a lot of people in the industry their jobs. Rush Limbaugh's influence diminished, along with his ratings. Sandra Fluke ascended as one of an outspoken advocates for women's rights in this country. Fluke is still on the rise. She's running for a state senate seat in California, but now there's another conservative who is trying to take her down. A wealthy real estate mogul named Bill Bloomfield dropped $1.3 million in campaign against the candidate. Loose campaign finance laws are allowing this wealthy donor to push his own agenda. Once again, Sandra Fluke has a challenge to overcome, and she joins us tonight. The lawyer, the activist, the candidate for California State Senate. Sandra, good to have you with us tonight.
Thank you so much, Ed.
You've attracted some attention. Why is that?
You know, I think that I am standing up and loudly fighting for our progressive values, and it seems pretty clear that Mr. Bloomfield doesn't want to see me in office fighting for the kind of change that we need in this country, and there are a whole host of other conservative voices who are also contributing to my opponent's campaign and attacking me with misleading and personal attacks to try to keep me out of office, try to keep us from accomplishing things like the change we need on campaign finance reform, the types of environmental protection I want to fight for, and the types of gender equality that are so important that we accomplish.
Conservative talk radio, according to conservative consultants, pretty much on life support. It's nowhere near what it used to be. And I believe, and others do as well in the industry, think it all started with what you went through 3 years ago. I want your response to that.
Well, you know, as I said, I've faced these kinds of attacks before, and I'm really proud that I helped to put an end to these types of efforts to silence people in our community, because I think there's this idea that if you have enough money, if you have a loud enough microphone, your voice counts more than others. And frankly, we're in that fight again now. I'm up against an incredibly wealthy donor who's trying to buy this election. He has put in about $1.5 million more than my opponent has raised for his entire campaign, and he's trying to take the choice away from voters. So I'm really proud that in 2012 I spoke out and I called out that kind of bullying, that kind of conservative bullying, and I'm doing it again. But what really mattered 2 years ago was that it wasn't just my voice. It was a lot of folks, a lot of the public, of voters standing up and saying, this is not how we want our democracy to work. We don't want women to be called sluts for speaking out, and we don't want billionaires to be able to buy elections. And that's what I need voters to do again now. The election is coming up on Tuesday, and if they don't make their voices heard, then we're not going to be able to fight for the kind of progressive change that we really need.
Some of that change that I think you're going to fight for, and correct me if I'm wrong, do you plan to address campaign finance laws, allowing people to come in and buy elections, and what could be done on a state level in California on that?
Absolutely. You know, I think we can actually do more at the state level than we can federally. The state is where we define a corporation's obligations and responsibilities, so we can put in tough disclosure requirements. We're working on that in California, but there's more to be done. I also want to create a matching grants program so that we can give candidates an incentive to fund their campaigns in the way that I have, by reaching out to individual contributors for small dollar contributions. We've had 5,000 people contribute, and 85% of them gave $250 or less. Now that gives me the independence I need to be able to be accountable to the community and go to Sacramento and fight back against the special interests that are pouring money into our elections.
Sandra,
So there are those kinds of reforms, but
Yeah.
I also want to be really honest with folks that Citizens United is going to be a long fight.
Yes.
And there are some things we can do legislatively, but until voters ask their candidates to do more,
Yeah.
that's what's got to be done. Voters have to take a stand.
Thank you, Sandra. Good to be with you tonight. And, of course, we certainly hope you're successful.